Good morning. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to put the dog on his bed and we're going to start on hands and knees and then I'll explain. So if you come onto your mat, look on your bed, good boy, lie down. So you might need a bit of padding underneath the knees today and a ball. And again, if you haven't got one of these balls, if you could maybe get a tennis ball or something like that. I'd like to do the thigh rolling on the ball today. So you're going to push into your hands. So just in plain old simple cat pose, push into the hands, ground the hands, and then ground the shins and the knees. And then start to do cat stretch. So you're just sort of settling yourself. Push your hands down to the floor to lift between your shoulder blades. And then just take the chest fractionally forward. And then just nice and gently, as you exhale, tuck the toes and then round the back. Allow the chin to come to the chest. And then inhaling, take the chest forward. As you exhale, tuck the toes, round the back, chin to the chest. So you might find that the first couple are quite modest, and that's fine. Inhaling, draw the chest forward. Again, tuck the toes, round the back, chin to the chest. Inhaling, taking the chest forward, still lifting between your shoulder blades. Again, tuck the toes, round the back, chin to the chest. Inhaling, coming forward. Now this one you're going to change it, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to exhale, tuck the toes, round the back, but then sit back on your heels and just take a really lovely stretch into your back. So you're just allowing more and more weight to go onto the feet, pressing down into the arms, looking towards your feet, and then holding there steady with the hands sort of almost like suckered onto the mat. Keep rounding the back. Can you round it a little bit more? Can you pull the tummy in, tucking the tailbone? So really rounding, looking towards your knees. And then direct the breath. So we're going to hold this for a moment. If your toes are in agony, maybe lift up a little bit. But if you're okay, what I'd like to do is to breathe into the back. Just find space in the back of the ribs. And then what I'd like you to do is to breathe into the side of the ribs. And just really feel the side of the ribs flaring. And then try and breathe into the lower back space. That's it. So you're just directing the breath and then try and breathe into the whole of the back. So slowing down the breath. And then when you come to the next inhale, it will be a heavenly relief to come back up into cat pose. You release the feet, draw the chest forward. And then this time, don't tuck the toes, just keep the feet as they are. Round the back and go back to child pose again, but keep the hands suckered on the floor. So you're getting a really good stretch into your back. And then what I'd like you to do is you're going to reach slightly your right arm forward, but it's not really, your hands are stuck on the mat. So you're just going to press your right arm forward. And what I'd like you to do is just hold it for a moment as I explain. What I'd like you to do is try and feel a sense of movement on the diagonal. So think of a connection between your right hand and then the back of the left hip. And then if you go to the left hand, and just see if you can find that mental connection between your left hand and the back of the right hip. And just go pressing into the right hand, pressing into the left hand. And just do that a couple more times, just stretching into the shoulders, pressing into the right hand, pushing it away, and then pressing into the left hand. And you might find that the head naturally turns, so as you press into your right hand, your head will turn to the left. And then as you press into the left hand, your head will turn to the right. So pressing into the left hand, into the right hand, your head turns to the left. Press into the right, I don't know, I'm getting all mixed up. Press into your left hand and your gaze will go to the right. Once more, press into the right hand, turning the head slightly so it's like a mini twist towards the left. Press into the left hand and twist your body towards the right. Come back into the middle and then lower the head down and just relax your forearms down, turning your palms to face up. So just give yourself a little bit of relief in the hands. And then we're going to come back into cat pose, please. So come back onto your hands and knees. Now, if you've got one of those balls, I'd like you to put it on your left hand side and then walk the hands over to the left. So it's like you're doing cat stretch with a side, or cat stretch with a side bend. Now take the ball into your right hand, drawing the chest forward. And then nice and slowly lean back, taking your right hip back onto your right sitting bone. And just roll that right arm forward if you can, or remain still. Again, like we did right at the beginning, I'd like you to breathe into your ribs, but onto just the right side this time. So breathing into the right side of the body. So really focusing on expanding the ribs, right side ribs at the back, the right side ribs at the side, and then perhaps even into the waist. And then let's relax your right arm and then come back up to the middle. Walk your hands over, taking the ball with you. So now both of your hands are on the right hand side. If you let your left hand have the ball and extend the chest forward, and then tuck the tailbone and ease your way back nice and slowly into this side stretch in child pose. Rolling your left arm forward this time. Once you're all set up, can you try and breathe into the left side of the back of the ribs? And then breathe into the side of the ribs on the left side. So not the back of the ribs on the left side, the side of the ribs on the left side. And then maybe head down to your lower back, side of the waist on the left side. And then again, relax that hand, relax the left hand, come back up, and then walk your hands back into the center. Do a couple of 3 cat stretches just like that. So push into the hands, draw the chest forward, and then tuck the toes round the back, chin to the chest. Again, inhaling, coming forward, and then exhaling, tucking the toes, push into the hands around the back, chin to the chest. One more time, inhaling, coming forward. Now, as you exhale, tuck the toes around the back, chin to the chest, but go back onto your heels. So second stretch. Child pose, but with the toes tucked, rounding into the back. Breathing into the back of the ribs. What I'd like to do is to come up slightly, but then make your way onto the fronts of the feet and go into full child pose, all the best that you can do, but take the arms forward and wide. So you are ready to come forward into cobra. We're just not quite doing it yet, but it's going to be really soon. So your ready position. Again, breathing into the shoulder blades, breathing into your back, both the top of the back, the mid back, and the lower back. And then look towards your knees. So you're tucking your chin slightly, look towards your knees, and then start to come forward. As you come forward, maybe you walk your hands forward. So just find whatever Cobra works for you. If you have a bad back at the moment, Cobra is not great. So you might need just to be much higher with virtually no bend in the back at all. And then you're lifting up and move yourself back. So again, looking towards the knees as you come forward, rolling the back forward, maybe lowering the hips, maybe not, maybe bending the elbows, maybe taking your arms forward. Engage into the core, lifting up, and then take yourself back. Again, coming forward, just see how it feels. Please don't push into it if it doesn't feel comfortable for you though. So what will happen is it might not feel comfortable for the first couple, and then it might get a little bit easier. That's it. Again, engaging into the core, lifting up and move back. The next time you go forward, I'd like to lower yourself down towards the floor. Take yourself down. And then let your hands go underneath your shoulders. And then just very slowly begin to lift the head up off the floor. So you're looking down towards the floor, lift the head, lift the chest slightly. So it's a very low cobra. See how that feels. And then lower yourself down, turning the head to the side, and just move your hips from side to side. And then we do it again. So if your back is not great in any form of a back bend, what I would suggest that you do is so instead of lifting up into small cobra, which is what everyone else is doing, if your back doesn't suit this for now, what I'd like you to do is just to stay in child pose. So you just hold the natural forward bend for a moment. Do you miss this bit out? Lowering yourself down, again, moving your hips from side to side. And then again, coming back into the center, you're going to lift the head up, lift the shoulders, lift the chest, and then maybe start to push down into the hands and lift up into cobra. See how it feels. So the elbows will never be completely straight in cobra. There's always an element of a bend in the elbows. Lower yourself down. And then one more time, start to lift up into cobra. And then start to push down into the hands. Just see how that feels. And then lower yourself down. Just relax the arms forward, so supporting the head and the hands. Again, moving the hips from side to side. We're going to do locust pose as well. So, and if it's not for you, can you just stay, please, in child pose? So let the arms go alongside your body, dropping the head down. And then begin to lift up the head and the chest, and then the legs. So you're feeling the whole of the back line of the body starting to engage. If it feels okay to do so, lift the arms, rotating your palms to face in towards your thighs and holding there. Now try and control the breath. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, drawing the chest forward, extending your toes back. So holding nice and long in the body, holding for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2, and then release down, let the arms go out to the side and then forward so they can cushion the head again as you move your hips from side to side. Well, I'm going to do that once more. It's just really good for the back. So it could be that it's just the smallest of lifts of the head with your hands underneath the head, and then also hands on the floor beneath your face, and then you lift up your legs. So you're providing a little bit of support. If it's nothing, if you just can't do it, stay down or go to child pose. If you're okay, take the arms alongside the body with your palms facing in towards each other and hold there, steadying the breath. So you're focusing on, not really on the pose so much as a steady breath. So feeling the symmetry in the body. And then slowly lower yourself down to the floor. Take the arms forward, cushioning the head, and then again move the hips from side to side. Rolling the shoulders. So the next thing I'm going to do is Sphinx pose. So again, there's a modification you can do in Sphinx pose if your back is not feeling great. So that would be to take your elbows forward rather than having the elbows underneath the shoulders. So Sphinx pose, elbows underneath the shoulders or forward so your ribs are resting on the floor. Push your hands down, push your forearms down into the floor, tucking the tailbone. So in Sphinx pose you have this ability to control your lower back much more easily. So tucking the tailbone, drawing the chest forward, pushing down, and then feel that you're trying to slide your elbows in towards the chest as you draw your chest forward. Holding there. And then relax the effort. Take the ribs down to the floor, let the elbows go wide, and just drop the head down for a moment. And then guess what, we're going to do it again. So what I'd like you to do is lift up the head and the chest and then find your Sphinx pose again. Now if you could locate a ball, if you're going to do this rolling on the thigh, I'd like you to just place the ball on your left hand side, please. So you're going to push down into your forearms, drawing the chest forward, tuck the tailbone if you need to. Maybe you're taking your elbows a little bit further forward. And then let your right knee go out to the side and just opening up into the hip. The right knee's out to the side, just like baby crawling. And then you're going to roll, we're going to lift the right foot and roll onto the front of your right thigh. So you're moving the right hip and then drop the foot down. And then do it again, lift the foot up and drop the foot down. One more time, so not much, just lift the foot, drop it down. Now flex both of your feet so you can tuck the toes, and then start to lift your tummy up away from the floor, pressing your hips back. Once you've got your hips back, you're going to roll that ball to the front of your left thigh. So the right knee is out to the side. It just makes it easier for you. And then start to take your weight forward. So it's like your left side of the body is doing a supported forearm plank. The right side of the body's got the knee out to the side. And what I'd like you to do is just to slowly move your shoulders forward and back so you can roll this left thigh. So you're just rolling from the top of the knee all the way up the thigh. Just see how it feels. Now, if it feels okay, explore turning your left toes to the right and then rolling the outer seam of your left leg, that outer line of your left leg. So just do that a couple of times as well. Keep the core engaged. And then just come onto both of your knees so you can get that ball out of the way. Walk the legs back and drop your back down to the floor, bending the knees, and then move the feet from side to side. Bend both of the knees, move the feet from side to side. So this might feel really good and you don't feel like doing anything else. You can take hold of your left foot with your left hand now. So just to do an extra stretch into the left thigh. See how that feels? And again, if your back is sore today, you're not going to want to do the next thing, which is going to come up into a half bow. And it probably won't feel good on your back if you do that. So I would miss that out and just rest with the knees on the floor, moving the feet from side to side. So picking up, push your left foot into your right hand if you're going to do this half bow position, and then maybe lift up your right leg and your right arm to come into half bow half locust pose. Just really stretching the left thigh. And then you relax everything down and move the hips from side to side. Then we're going to do the same thing again. After that, we're going to be in child pose. So what I'd like you to do is to come onto your forearms again. And then let the left knee go out to the side. Maybe you stay here, just drawing the chest forward. Remember, you can take your elbows slightly forward. And then start to pick up your left foot, rolling onto the front of the left thigh. And then drop the foot down. Pick up the left foot. And then drop it down. Picking up the left foot. And then drop the foot down. Now what I'd like to do, you flex your feet, you tuck your toes, and then push your forearms down to the floor, moving your hips back, and then take the ball to the front of your right thigh, and then come forward. So you're on a forearm plank on your with the ball on your right thigh. And then the left knee's out to the side because that allows you to move your shoulders freely forward and back to facilitate this rolling of the thigh. And then once you've rolled the front of the thigh, just see if you can turn your right toes to the left and then roll that outer seam of your right thigh as well. So just see how that feels. So doing that a few times. And then just lift up so you can come onto your knees, take the ball out of the way, and then lower yourself down. Once you're down, bend both of your knees, move the feet from side to side, both feet side to side. Either continue to do this, or you relax your left leg and then take your right hand back to grab hold of your right foot. So pressing it down to begin with, and then we're going to start to come into this half bow position. So you push or press your right foot into your right hand. If that feels okay, maybe explore lifting up your left leg and then taking your left arm forward as well. So you're in half locust, half bow. And then relax from that. And just again move the hips from side to side. Then what I'd like to do is just to so you're going to move it into child pose for a moment. So taking the hands underneath the shoulders, lift the shoulders up, lift the chest up, and then sit back on your heels. Just let the back relax. So take as long as you want in this child pose. If your back is fine today, come up into downward facing dog a little bit quicker. So you can come into downward facing dog now, or hang out in child pose for a little bit longer, waiting for the back to settle. And then when you feel ready, come into downward facing dog. So starting off alternately bending the knees. Just maybe moving into the hips a little bit as well if you are now in downward facing dog. Just see how things feel. And then rise up onto the balls of the feet. Lower your knees down. And then just take yourself into child pose again. Okay, good. And then you're going to go back when you're ready, going back, lifting up into downward facing dog. So your hands, tuck the toes, float your knees up. In your second downward facing dog, try and draw the tummy in and lengthen into the lower back. Then what I'd like you to do again is rise up onto the balls of the feet, lower the knees to the floor. Take the knees to the floor. Now stretch away your right leg. So cat balance, put both hands on the floor. Take an inhale there, and then as you exhale, bring the knee in towards the nose, pushing into your hands, knee to the nose, and then take the right leg back. Again, 2 more times. Bring the knee in, so you're rounding the back. And take the leg away. This time you're going to step the foot forward, so you bring the right knee in towards the chest, and then take the right foot forward between the hands. Take your hips forward, drawing the chest forward, and then move the hips back a little way. So almost going to half splits, but not really. So moving your hips forward, and then moving your hips back. Again, move the hips forward 1 more time. So each time maybe go a bit deeper, move the hips forward, and then move the hips back. If already your left knee is uncomfortable, you might need to just go and get some padding for that knee. But coming forward, lifting the chest up, and then take your right hand onto your right knee. Now, we did this last week. I'd like you to take your left arm forward. So you're sort of bracing there. If you need to, so this is already a back bend. So if this is too strong, you shift your hips back and you take all back bend out of it. So you'd be more upright. The hips being above your left knee will take the pressure out of your back. So wherever it feels comfortable, what I'd like to do is to reach your left arm forward and then let your body naturally twist towards the right. And then retract your left shoulder blade back, coming upright. Again, reach the arm forward, the left arm forward. So reaching forward from the shoulder blade, as much space between the shoulder blade and the spine, and then retract the shoulder blade back. Again, reach the arm forward, creating as much space as you can between the shoulder and the spine, and then reach your arm back. Now, as you reach the arm forward, we're going to go into a twist. So you reach the arm forward, you can either stay here or take your right arm out to the side. So you're spreading your arms into a twist in this low lunge position. And then let the arms go up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to spread the arms a bit, twist the other way into an open position. So you're twisting towards the left. That's it. So now try and feel that your left shoulder blade is moving in towards the spine there. It's retracted. Shift the hips back as you take your arms up towards the ceiling. 1 more time. Twist towards the right. Now you're reaching your left shoulder blade forward. Lift the arms up. And then twist towards the left. But try and do the opposite. So you're moving, plugging that right shoulder blade in towards the spine. Take the arms up. Now reach your right arm forward. But take the right hand to the floor, left arm up into the air, tuck your left toes, pick up that left knee so the left knee gets a break, and you're in a high lunge twist. Now start to take your right arm back behind you, down towards the floor, forward, and then up. So it's doing a circle, back, down, forward and up. 1 more, back, down, forward, up. Hold the up for a moment. Take both hands down to the floor and then either go back to cat pose or step back to downward facing dog. Stretching out the legs, quite a lot on the legs, so just stretch out the legs. And then make your way onto your knees. And please take child pose for a moment so you get to rest your shoulders. So obviously we've got to do the same thing again on the other side. So you might feel that the right leg has done quite a lot. So then we're going to come back up onto the hands and knees. And then take that left leg back. Just holding it there for a moment, engaging into your core. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, bring the knee in towards the chest, knee towards the nose, and then take the leg back. Again, draw the knee in towards the nose. Take the leg back. This time you're going to step the foot forward. So bring the knee in towards the chest, and then step that left foot forward. And then start to move your hips forward and move your hips back. So almost approaching a half split. So you move your hips forward and then you move your hips back. And so just see how it feels. You come forward, as it might be a really small movement, forward and then back. Then you're going to come forward and lift the chest up, taking your left hand onto your left thigh. Now as you do that, again, what I want you to do is to think about the back. So where the back is comfortable, it might be a very, very upright position. Taking your right arm forward. So find what works for you. Right arm forward. Now reach your right arm forward, so you're stretching your shoulder blade away from the spine. Allow the body to twist. So it's like a very gentle twist. And then pull the shoulder back, trying to plug that shoulder blade in towards the spine. Do it again, so you reach your right arm forward, stretching the shoulder blade forward, and then pull the shoulder blade back. Now this time, as you reach your right arm forward, you're going to take the left arm out to the side, so you're in a twist. That's it. So come into that twist, twisting towards the left, and then take the arms up, and then twist towards the right, but try and feel that you're moving your right shoulder blade in towards the spine. Take the arms up, so that transition to face forward is going to challenge your balance. Turn towards the left, reaching your right shoulder blade forward. Reach it forward, that's it. One more time, coming up, and then go to the open twist. So you're going to the right, but you're trying to reach your right shoulder blade in towards the spine. Take the arms up. Now you reach your right arm forward from the shoulder, but then take it to the floor. Left arm goes up towards the ceiling. Now tuck your right toes under, lift up, pick up that right leg, stretch it, straighten it. Left arm up in the air. Now start to take the left arm back and then down and forward and up. So a big circle, back, down, forward and up. One more, back, down, forward, up and hold. Spread the arms. Take the hand down to the floor. Either go straight back to cat pose or downward facing dog. Stretching the legs, walking on the feet, twisting into the legs. And then drop down to the knees and pause for a moment, resting. Taking the hands, palms to face up, and just drop the head down for a moment. From here, I'd like you to come into a standing forward bend. So you walk your hands in towards the knees, tucking the toes, and then you'll lift yourself up into a standing forward bend, walking the hands in towards the feet. Let the chest rest on the thighs, holding onto the elbows, breathing there. Maybe roll the shoulders, maybe not. Just forward bend. Take the hands perhaps to the lower back and then come up, slowly up to standing. That's it. Good. Just roll the shoulders, standing there, just shaking out the arms and the legs for a moment. And then walk towards the front of your mat. Actually, it's better to be at the front of the mat. You don't actually need to be at the front of the mat. But what I'd like you to do is to take the feet hip distance apart, push down into the feet and stand up nice and tall. You can do a standing side bend, little sequence there. So take the hands to the heart center in prayer position, lift the arms up. Now you're going to grab hold of your right wrist, lift and lengthen, and then do a slight side bend over. That's it. That's lovely. Coming up, and then grab hold of your left wrist, lifting, lengthening, take the side bend. Coming up, that's it. Good. From there, interlace the hands behind your back, open up across the front of the chest, and then fall forward. And then from here, you're going to come up to standing, but with your right knee lifted. So start to come up, lift your right heel, your arms are still behind your back, and then lift your right knee up, looking forward. Lean your shoulders forward and then bend your left knee as you stretch your right leg back behind you, tapping the toes. And then try and bring that right knee in towards the chest again, lifting it up. Take your shoulders forward as you reach the right leg back behind you, bending into the left knee. Ground your right toes and then feel that shift. So from leaning forward, feel the shift to take equal weight into both feet. Release the arms, it'll feel heavenly. Release the arms up towards the ceiling, looking forward, holding there. So you really are stretching the back leg, lifting the chest. Keep pulling the ribs in. And then let the arms come down and just simply step forward. So it's like a little mini flow. So we're going to do the same thing again on the other side. Starting off with the hands at the heart center. Lift the arms up. Now grab hold of your left wrist this time. Lifting the left wrist, take a small side bend over to the right. Coming up, grab hold of your right wrist, side bend to the left. Coming back up. Interlace the hands behind your back, open up across the chest and then fold forward. But as you fold forward, bend the knees, lifting the arms up away from the back. Now as you come up to standing, I'd like you to try and lift up your left leg as you come up. So start to lift the chest, lightening the left heel, and then nice and slow, lift the left knee up, taking your gaze forward. So the hands are still behind the back. Now take your shoulders forward as you slowly extend that left leg back behind you to tap the toes down, bending into your right knee. And then come back up to standing. Right leg is straight, the left knee is in towards the chest. Try it again. So you take the left leg back, bending into your right knee. But this time you actually ground your left toes. Once the toes are grounded, shift your hips, or not shift your back, shift your shoulders up above your hips. Once you're there, take the arms out to the side and up, stretching that left calf back, holding here. And then again, release the arms down and step forward. So you're somewhere on your mat, doesn't really matter where. What I'd like you to do is to relax your shoulders and then let your knees bend and your arms hang forward, pulling the tummy up away from the movement as you do a ragdoll forward bend. Going all the way down and then pushing down to the feet, engaging into the core, come up again. So ragdoll forward bend. Once you're upright, if you could go forward, but then go towards the left leg. So you're framing your left leg with your arms. Fold down the left leg. Stay down as you roll onto the outside edge of your right foot. So you're stretching that outer seam of the right leg. Relaxing the foot. Come up again. Really core centric here. And then try it on the other side. So you lean forward, but then you twist round towards the right and fold down the right leg. Just allowing that left side stretch. Once you're grounded, roll onto the outside edge of your left foot, holding there. And so you're just trying to do a ragdoll forward bend. Should feel nice on the back, particularly if you've got an asymmetrical pull on your back. Relax your left foot. Coming up, you can always use your hands to help support you, to walk you up your back. Come back through the center and then go down through the center line now. So the hands go to the floor, you're in a forward fold. Connect, ground the hands to the floor and then come onto one knee, then the other knee. And then please go back into child pose. And just rest there for a moment, dropping the head down. So once you're down, you're just going to breathe into your back. And then from there, coming up, what I'd like you to do is to come to seated, letting the legs go forward. So with the knees bent, you've got a couple of options here. You can interlace the hands underneath the, hold on to the elbows underneath the arms, and if you can see that. So the arm, that's my right hand. So the hands are bound underneath the knees, or you go straight for holding onto the feet. Maybe try the bind first as you slide your heels forward. Just gently stretching into the back, soften whenever you need to. And then breathing into the back. So either staying here with the arms bound around the back of the knees, or release the arms forward to the feet and breathe there. And then coming up, I'm going to change my orientation just to make it a bit simpler. Please bend your right knee and then let your right knee go out to the side. So you bend your right knee, take the right knee out to the side. That's it. Just see how that feels. Use your hands to help you. So you push down, your hands are framing the left leg. Push down into the fingers and lift your chest up. That might already be enough. If you can, I'd like to slowly begin to fold down your left leg. If there's a lot of resistance in the left leg, bend the knee and then hook your right elbow underneath the left knee, so that when you come forward, your chest is held closer to your thigh. And sometimes that can get into your back in a much more effective way than just leaning forward. So you can do this bound Janu Sirsasana head to knee pose, or you can be very far upright, drawing the chest forward. That's it. Keep supporting into the core. Try and find the right side of the lower back there. And then coming up, walk the hands in and bring the knee, the right knee, in towards the chest. Take the right knee across. Now, if you can keep your left leg straight, or if it feels comfortable to do so, please bend your left leg as well. So you could do a variation of Ardha Matsyendrasana, or you can do it with both legs bent. Whatever happens, you're going to take your left elbow around that right knee. Slowly begin to lengthen the spine and then twist towards the right. So you're lifting, lengthening, and then twisting. Stay in the twist, but just move the head. So turn the head to look forward, and looking towards your left shoulder, and then turn the head to look to the right. One more time. Turn the head to look to the left, and then turn the head to look to the right. Come back into the middle. Lean back into the hands, and then just release the legs forward, shaking out the legs. We're going to do the same thing again on the other side. So now you bend your left knee, take your left knee out to the side. Now your modification for this would be to let the leg go out to the side, but you're still orientating yourself down over your right leg. So lifting, lengthening, and then beginning to fold down your right leg this time. And if there's a lot of resistance in the right leg, just soften that right knee and then take your left elbow underneath the right knee and bind the arm to allow yourself to go into a slightly different version of this stretch. It's all about the right side, the left side of the lower back though. So stretching out that side of the back, the QL area. And then start to come up again, just walking yourself up. Bring the left knee in towards the chest, and then take the left leg across the right, or left foot across the right leg. Either stay here or you bend your right leg as well. Hooking your right elbow around that left knee, left hand back behind. Lift the chest up and then turn to look over your left shoulder. And then just move the head to look towards your right shoulder. And then turn your head to look towards your left shoulder. Turn your head to look towards your right shoulder. And then just move the head back into that twist. So looking over your left shoulder again. Please come back into the middle. Lean back into the hands, just makes it a lot easier to release the legs forward. Once the legs are forward, just shaking out the legs. And then scoot your bottom forward, and you're going to come to lying down on your back. So if you you could have your ball nearby, that would be a good thing. So take the arms forward and then just slowly roll your back down to the floor. Stepping the feet in. Hands just come to naturally rest on the abdomen. Arch your back, tilting the pelvis forward, and then flatten the back and tuck the tailbone. Again, inhale to arch, tilting the pelvis forward, and then exhale to flatten. One more time, inhale to arch, exhale to flatten. Relax the back, bringing your right knee in towards the chest. Hug it in, and then stretch your left leg long. Take hold of your right knee with the left hand, and then your right arm can just be out to the side. Come into recline twist, just taking your right knee across as far as feels comfortable for you. So pushing away your left heel, drawing the tummy in, navel in towards the spine, twisting. And then bring your knee back into the middle, hug it in for a moment, and then let that right foot go to the floor. Bring the left knee in towards the chest, hug it in, extend your right leg, And then take hold of your left knee, left arm goes out to the side, and just guide that left leg across to the right into a reclined twist. And then come back into the middle, hugging your left knee in towards the chest. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. And then take the feet, both feet to the floor. Arms alongside the body. Now you can either continue doing an arch and a flatten, so arching the back, flatten and curl, or you could progress into a bridge pose. So you arch the back, flatten the back, and then continue to lift the hips up away from the floor, coming up into bridge. And then lowering the legs down. Not the legs, sorry, lowering the hips down. Tilt the pelvis forward, take an inhale, and then as you exhale, grounding the feet as you start to slowly lift the hips up, coming up into bridge. And then again, rolling yourself all the way down, tilting the pelvis forward. One more time, inhale to arch, and then rolling up, taking the back up away from the floor. And then coming all the way down. Go right down to the tailbone and then settle. Now you could stay here, or you could simply let your legs go up into the air, maybe supported, go near a wall, so your legs are supported against the wall. The other thing you can do is to use this ball or a ball and place it, roll it underneath the back of the pelvis, but it has to be in the center. So underneath the back of the pelvis, and then bring a knee and then another knee in towards the chest, and then let your legs just float up into the air. And just stay there. If you have a strong desire to do a half shoulder stand, you're more than welcome to do a half shoulder stand now. Perhaps even a headstand if that's something for you. But you might just feel like hanging out here. I always feel this is very bat-like. So your legs are up in the air, you're bending your knees. So the knees are just softly bent, the legs are weightless. You're just breathing in and out. Noticing the micro movements, the micro adjustments that are going on to maintain the balance. If it feels really steady today, lift the elbows off the floor. So maybe you take your hands somewhere onto your thighs. Maybe you lift your shoulder blades off the floor. So just to challenge your balance a bit more, reducing the contact that you are making now to the floor. So taking some steady, slow breaths there. Slowing down the breath. So just a few more breaths there. So if you did do a half shoulder stand or another inversion, if you could come out of that and just make your way into this legs up position. Beginning to fold the legs, drawing the knees in towards the chest, and then interlacing the fingers around the shins. And then let the feet go to the floor. So again, letting the weight go of the pelvis go into the ball. Lifting your hips up and away from the ball, rolling the ball out of the way, and then drop the back down to the floor. Staying there, so each time you're just very slowly making your way out. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And rock from side to side, very gently. Rocking from side to side. And then what I'd like you to do is either roll onto your side to come up to sitting, or rock forward and back to come up to sitting. Taking the legs forward or crossing the legs. And just letting your arms rest on the legs. So taking your time, but let the arms rest softly on the legs. Drawing the navel in towards the spine, lifting the chest up. And just staying there for a moment, assessing how you feel. So scanning the body from the top of the head all the way down to the toes. Just breathing there. So you're lifting the chest, you're dropping the shoulders, lifting up through the spine, and then again, slowly drop the chin down to stretch your neck. Take the hands to the heart center in prayer position, press the palms together. Softly blink the eyes open. And then just lifting up, simply lifting up the gaze. Well done. Namaste. I hope that was okay. I think it was a bit hard on the spine. I was a bit worried. I think that was a bit tough.